The European Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker, has kicked off Europe's campaign today to convince the austerity-battered Greeks to stay in the Eurozone.
Il ne faut pas se suicider parce qu'on a peur de la mort. I elada in Evropi, I Evropi in elada.
Mr Juncker also repeatedly pointed out that he's not the one to blame, he said, for putting the country on the brink of financial ruin.
I tried again and again. I have done everything that can be done. I myself have never been short of determination or patience. I have explored all the possibilities to accommodate the Greek concerns.
RT's Europe correspondent Peter Oliver has been following the growing anxiety in the EU over the unravelling Greek drama.
Well, there's great anxiousness, really, across the European leaders, and that was epitomised by Jean-Claude Juncker. The European Commission President is pretty much staring down the barrel of his life's work, the euro, crumbling in front of him. He also suggested the door could be still open for Greece, but said he didn't have any new proposals to put forward just yet. He did come across as clearly wounded by the calling of this referendum on whether Greece will accept proposals from the institutions. But we are looking at a referendum, and what could come out of that? Well, if Greece says no, if it has to leave the euro, there is no mechanism in place for that. And we've been hearing from European leaders who are calling on the Greek people to show unity and solidarity with the rest of the single currency nations.
None of us knows the consequences of a Greek exit from the Eurozone, neither politically nor economically. So we should do everything to ensure Greece stays in the Eurozone.
Well, the current bailout expires on Tuesday, the same day Greece has got to pay 1.6 billion euros to the International Monetary Fund. If it fails to find the money, the country looks almost certain to default. Here next, then, is RT's Harry Fear in the Greek capital.
It is a bank holiday today here in Greece to try to stem this deepening financial crisis, now 5 years long. There are limits on cash withdrawals, 60 euros per bank card per day. The banks are set to reopen on July 7th. That's 2 days after the July 5th date, when Greeks will go to the polls at this snap referendum to vote on whether or not to accept the Troika's bailout conditions. Now, speaking to Athenians on the streets of Greece today, there is, of course, unsurprisingly, much uncertainty and also division about this whole situation, about the financial plight ordinary families are facing, and also about how individuals will vote on Sunday at the referendum. But certainly what's clear is that the most passionate individuals are the ones with anger for Europe.
It's a tragedy, these people governing Europe. Finally, someone's saying no to them, saying we're going to fight. Whether we succeed or not, I don't know, but we are resisting.
Greece has always had and always will have dignity.
To have growth, we have to exit the euro. It's clear that if we delay the exit, the situation's going to get worse.
Why not exit? We're not dead yet. Do they want to take everything from us?
Unprecedented moments here in Athens for Greece. Certainly unknown unknowns as implications for the Greek economy, for the Eurozone and for Europe itself.
Well, these uncharted waters, as they're being described, are already having effect. Europe's financial markets were jolted today by the imposition of those capital controls in Greece. Stocks in France, Germany, Spain, other European countries too, all hit hard during initial trading as Greece heads closer maybe to that euro exit door. The euro also lost value on global markets as investors opted to put their money in safer currencies. Let's bring him out, Keiser, host of the Keiser Report, get his thoughts on it. Is it time to run for cover in Europe, or is a Grexit not going to be so horrendous? Where's it going to go and what's happening?
Hi, Kevin. Nice to speak with you again. I've been watching the stock price of Deutsche Bank today, Germany's largest bank, one of the largest banks in the world, certainly with the biggest derivatives book in the world. They are the counterparty to the Greek debt, and their stock got hammered. And Deutsche Bank could go the way of Lehman Brothers or Bear Stearns, which would set off a global liquidity crisis that would make 2008 look tame by comparison. Look, the thing about Greece is that the Syriza government has said all along they have no money and we're not going to pay this debt. And now Jean-Claude Juncker has finally woken up to that fact, that what he's been told now for a year. And remember, Jean-Claude Juncker is the guy who said not too long ago, when the going gets tough, you must lie. So anything that comes out of his mouth, we have to assume he's lying, because certainly the going has started to get tough.
Yeah. How tough is it going to get? What's actually going to happen here, do you think? Your best guess?
Well, as I've been saying all along, Greece should Grexit, and now looks like they will Grexit, which is fantastic for Greece. They get a chance to restart their economy. It's terrible for their counterparties. It's terrible for the Eurozone. And, of course, Italy and Spain are probably the next countries to come under the same kind of stress that we're seeing in Greece right now.
This upcoming referendum in Greece, I mean, what's that about, end of the day, really?
Well, it's about a democratic process. The current
what are they voting over? They haven't got much choice, have they?
Democracy, and they're giving their population a chance to participate in their own future and their own sovereignty. I know for people in Britain or people in America, this is an alien concept. They have no longer ascribed to democracy and democratic values for generations. But believe it or not, there is a thing called democracy. It's alive and well in Greece, and we're seeing it played out in Greece, where, incidentally, it was created to begin with.
Yeah. If Greece does bail out, what are the ramifications going to be? OK, it'll find its feet. We heard someone on earlier on saying in 3 months people will be saying, well, who cares that Greece went bankrupt at the end of the day? What are the knock-on effects? I mean, you said just now it could be horrendous. That's a could be. What's the likely scenario going to play out here?
Well, for Greece, like historically, when countries have defaulted, they have been able to return to the credit markets with no problem. We just saw this in Iceland. Iceland got rid of their bankster problem, and now they're raising money in the global finance market again, much stronger.
Is it like going bankrupt? You can just walk free from all your debts, or the Greek government going to be pursued in future by the rest of Europe?
No, they can be pursued all they want, but it's a global economy. It's global competition. Greece has the right to compete in a global competition and not be a vassal state and not have a colonization of their economy by Germany, the ECB, and the IMF, and the Troika. They have the right to be a free people. The Troika, unfortunately, overplayed their hand. Now they must suffer the consequences. Greece will be fine, but I can't say the same about the Eurozone. I think now they've lit a fuse to total destruction of the euro, and the banks, in particular Deutsche Bank, is the most exposed, Kevin. This is a $100 trillion derivatives book that could go the way of Lehman Brothers. That's an enormous shellacking to the global economy, and I think now we've got to raise the odds of this happening above 50%.
Final one, a recent poll found apparently 57% of Greeks apparently would accept the creditors' terms. Doesn't the Syriza government risk undermining itself by holding this referendum, then?
Well, the creditors' terms are, as, again, if you listen to Jean-Claude Juncker, he's not a credible guy to have these negotiations. He's a serial liar. Nobody takes the utterings of this maniac seriously. He's a fraud. So I understand that Greeks would love to be in the euro, but they can't also have their sovereignty and their dignity. They must choose between dignity and sovereignty versus being in the euro. You can't have both.
Guess you won't be sobbing if you're off his Christmas card list after this chat then. Max Keiser, thank you very much. Nice to see you. Max Keiser, of course, host of the Keiser Report on this channel.
Thanks, Ken.
Now,